Go. Hey guys, welcome to the Superherocuts podcast where we talk all things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's your boy Stevie Hayes, joined by Comic Cuts. Bro, how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Pumped to be back. How you doing?
Been too long, man. 2 weeks is too long for us. Feels I'm just happy
Yeah.
to be back recording, man. So obviously we are like every week we did take I think we took a well needed break.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
kind of going hard for like almost from since January. So you had to move and stuff. I was at camp for church and we're just busy. So glad to be back. But
Yeah.
obviously, a lot of news has come out. So there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to get right into it. So, first, we'll talk about Doctor Strange because there's this whole thing going around about how Doctor Strange 3 is going to be leading into Avengers King Dynasty, and the whole entire narrative with that, bro, is basically that everyone's talking about this. A lot of these sources, I guess, are given this idea that Doctor Strange, for like, because apparently for what he did on 838 is going to cause an incursion, which makes sense when you think about it. And basically, a lot of the heroes in 838 are going to be going against Doctor Strange, and that in Avengers there's a possible chance that Doctor Strange is going to be looked at as the enemy of the multiverse and not King the Conqueror. And to me, that would be a freaking like that would be a plot twist as heck. So how do you feel about Doctor Strange's importance in this whole multiverse thing? And do you think that they can take what happened in the Multiverse of Madness and kind of um like because I know you didn't like it, and I also agree that there were some issues. Like, do you think that there's a way that they can take the things that he did and kind of make it like a he's paying for his sins type of vibe, or where he tries to fix the multiverse and the Avengers are like, no, like you already like jacked it up already, you know?
Yeah. I think if they were going to do that story, and I get like that this would be calling an audible, you know, because I just don't think the movie was good enough that the plot twist going into Kang Dynasty, like that movie doesn't deserve this plot twist. And I don't like Marvel kind of being like, you know what? We were hyping Kang up so hard, and now we're gonna twist, and Kang's not gonna be the next big bad. And I really don't like that. When I log into Disney Plus and I look at what's going on with the MCU right now, and I know a lot of people didn't like Ant Man, but the one good thing about Ant Man, despite what anyone says, is Kang. Jonathan Majors delivered as Kang. I want to see more Kang. I know Marvel fans want to see more Kang. I don't want to see Doctor Strange. I'm okay with them going against Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange having a villain moment. I'm fine with that. What I am not fine with is that being called as an audible and kind of putting Kang on the bench and subbing in
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. I'm not cool
So
with that.
yeah,
Hell
so
no.
I wasn't necessarily saying that it was going to make Doctor Strange be looked at as the villain, but like because in King Dynasty, King is supposed to win, right? And I think it would be wild if King flipped it on everybody and was like, "You guys think I'm the reason why this happened? I'm not." And he goes back and shows everyone Multiverse of Madness and the crap that he does in Doctor Strange 3. And what if for a moment the Avengers put the blame on Doctor Strange? Because the whole idea that I think Marvel is going to go with, because remember in Multiverse of Madness, they were like, you are the greatest enemy to the like multiverse more than King. And I think that there's a lot that you can build off of that
More than
because
Thanos, I think is what
exactly.
they said. Yeah.
And that's why I think that they can use that idea and build off of that idea of like Doctor Strange is always trying to fix it, but they're like, no, like you're not going to do it. And like, and what if like the ultimatum that people have to come to where they have to choose between going either the way of Doctor Strange or the way of King? And what I think King Dynasty is going to be for us, kind of like how in Avengers Infinity War, right? Thanos had to win. Like there was no like for them to win in Endgame, they had to lose. What if like we really
And
get shown every possible thing, and it's like Kang has to be in charge for this to work? Like, you know what I
I
mean?
would love that. I do think that Kang should win in the Kang Dynasty. I mean, the movie's called the Kang Dynasty, and if you read the comics, you know that, spoiler alert for anyone who's planning on reading the comics or doesn't want to know what happens in the comics because they're holding out for the movie. But in the comics, Kang comes to Earth, takes over the entire planet, and Captain America fights him in the middle of outer space and beats Kang. But you know, it was like it was a long series. I think it was like 10 or 12 issues, if I remember correctly. It's not worth reading because it was written by Kurt Busiek, and he sucks. But the story was actually good, but the writing is terrible. Anyway, Kang really held the planet for most of that story. And it wasn't until the very end that, Cat kind of comes out and, messes Kang up, and it was dope. That part at least was dope. But Kang won, and I forget exactly in Infinity War the comics, but if Thanos won it first, because I think before the first, which is actually Infinity Gauntlet, I'm pretty sure Thanos wins. But in the very end of the first installment, which is Infinity Gauntlet, I'm pretty sure it was a Warlock or someone ends up coming and winning. So it's kind of similar, But the thing that I thought was so cool about Infinity War when you watched it for the first time, um, is that the Avengers lost, which we never saw happen. We never saw a movie end where in Marvel, period, where the heroes lose at the end. And I think that's why a lot of, like, even though Endgame had plenty of shock value with the Iron Man death at the end, like I think that people misjudge them now off rewatches because people forget what it was like walking out of the movie theater, seeing that for the first time and being like, wow, not only did they lose, they got their asses handed to them. And, that was crazy. And I think Kang needs to win in Kang Dynasty and go into Secret Wars, but I think like if the conversation leading into Avengers Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars isn't about the villains and the MCU Avengers roster, I think Marvel has a major problem on its hands. And I know we spoke about this earlier. I don't know if you mean to have this conversation now or later in the show. But and if it's later, I'll hold off on some of my commentary on it right now.
What about like Hugh Jackman being in Secret Wars? You're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and why I think that's a
ha-
problem.
I have that in the docket after
Okay,
Scarlet Witch. That we'll talk about
okay, I'll hold it. Yeah, yeah.
the injured and lost Infinity War. They will lose again. Yes, 100% agree with that. They will lose a King Dynasty. Um, yeah. So for that, yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent with everything you're saying. Um, I think that I right now I think the roster is salvageable. Um, I was kind of doing the math and like writing down heroes. It is salvageable if you have the right people there, and that's all I'll say with that when it comes to the roster. Like I think it's doable. I'm just not sure if fans are going to be happy, in my opinion. But if you have like Daredevil on the roster, like people like that are popular, I think you can somehow make it work. But the reality is, someone's going to have to come back, and that's when I want to see who's going to come back. But in my opinion, I think with the introduction of Reed and Hugh Jackman probably being a part of it, I think you can make it work. Definitely with whoever is casted as Reed, whoever really, these two movies live and die on Reed Richards,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and
and that's what a lot
that's
of
the thing.
people, that's what a lot of
Like,
fans don't know and don't understand. A lot of fans don't understand how important Reed Richards is to this story, and this is why Marvel Studios is taking so long with casting this guy, because Reed Richards is the next Tony Stark. He's the next Robert Downey Jr. Like he's the next Steve Rogers. Like Reed Richards in the comics is more important than Tony Stark ever was. He's one of the most important characters in comic book history. So
He's like neck and neck with Spider-Man. And by the way, the way you can't do Infinity War without Thanos is like the equivalent to you can't do Secret Wars without Reed.
or King Dynasty, literally. Like, yeah. So, um, that's why I've been kind of holding back on how much I'm talking about King Dynasty, because we need to find this Fantastic Four casting first, because Fantastic Four is probably the biggest part to this Avengers roster that we have not seen yet.
What is interesting though is that Kang Dynasty came out in the late 90s or early 2000s, and this Secret Wars story came out in, I'm pretty sure, 2015. So
Yeah.
I am really intrigued to see, like, if you've read the Infinity War comics or any of the comics that the MCU movies are based on, the MCU takes its liberties with it. They take like the skeletal parts of the story and then they reinvent some on their own, is the best way I feel like I could phrase that. But I think it's going to be really cool with how they tie Kang Dynasty into Secret Wars. And and I like that they do this, because for like diehard comic guys like myself, there's always plenty of surprises in store for us. No matter how many comics you've read, like there's always surprises, so if guys like me and guys who've never read comics both get to go into the movie theater and experience a new story for the first time.
100%. Could any of our heroes come back to life? I mean, it's possible, but I don't expect any to come back for King Dynasty though. King Dynasty is going to be pretty much our King Dynasty is going to be pretty much our current roster.
Yeah. And if you want to see how that's going to happen, I suggest you do some research on Battle World. Battle World was a planet that was made up of scattered pieces of different Earths that blew up because they had incursions.
Yep. And
it's where Secret Wars takes place. It's Battle World.
It's going to be insane. And I think we're going to have a bunch of different teams, like in Infinity, where we're going to have the Street team with Spider-Man, Daredevil, those type of people. We'll have a space team, all that stuff.
So. By the way, so another big spoiler for Secret Wars, the comics, but Dr. Doom basically steals Reed Richards' family and convinces them that he's their father.
Yes.
And
Mary Sue, yeah.
Doctor Strange becomes the right hand to Dr. Doom, and he is a huge part of that story too. So I think that would be crazy, and that villain part kind of makes sense now. Like, I can see that rumor. I don't think Doctor Strange will be a villain, but I do think he's going to be like an anti-hero. Like, he's going to be working. He could be working for Dr. Doom and thinking he's doing the right thing. But one thing we all know from history is that everyone who ever did something evil in the history of the world always thought they were doing something good.
100%.
Thanos, and Thanos did too. Obviously, he's a fictional character.
So yeah, this is going to be a very Brendan. It's going to be a very interesting. Brendan, what's up? You're on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. What's
up?
No,
I seen that topic, so I was like, I gotta hop on for that topic.
Wait, are you almost home?
No, I'm at my house right now.
Oh. Are you going?
Later on, going to the gym. I left the gym like a little bit ago, and I'm going right back.
Oh, bet. Yeah, man, we are talking about some MCU stuff. So we just talked about Doctor Strange. All right, so let's get into Scarlet Witch while we're here. So Scarlet Witch has been like the talk of the town lately in regards to like the Marvel stuff going on. And I know, Comic, because you and I texted about it a lot for the past couple of days. So basically, what had happened is they are talking about how the whole Disney Plus shows are going to be kind of wired around the Scarlet Witch, the ag of the show that comic cuts you hate, you don't want to come out. I'm kind of warming up to it as the days go by. There's also this Disney Plus project special presentation called The Witch's Road, which basically does a origin to how, but basically to how we end up. I'm pretty sure who's in it. Who is Tilda Swinton's character in Doctor Strange? The ancient one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, there's going to be a prequel with like the witches that predate Scarlet Witch and Agatha, but they're dealing with like the ancient one and all those other different types of characters. And it's kind of giving a preface to the Scarlet Witch in the whole entire movie. And then apparently that's supposed to connect to the Scarlet Witch movie where we get like a deep dive on Wanda and all of this jazz. And basically, these next couple of projects are going to be centered around Scarlet Witch, and all of this stuff is going to bring her to the point to where she ends up getting with Kang. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you my theory on how I think that's going to happen, and then come my cousin Brendan.
You said Scarlet Witch gets with Kang.
Not like Guts King, like they don't like that, but I'm saying like I'm saying like
That's what I was thinking.
Oh no, yo. I'm not even gonna comment. I was about to say something wild, but yeah.
Say it.
I was about to make a joke on like Jonathan hitting her, but I'm not gonna do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Too soon. Too soon. Maybe next year we can make
if you watch the show, you know we've all said we don't condone that. If he's guilty of that, like recast.
If he is guilty, he's chalked out of here. That's facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not, and we hope no one was actually hurt.
Yep. So my theory is that our Wanda is not going to join Kang. I think the 838 Wanda is, because I believe the 838 is going after her because she just killed the whole entire Illuminati, which are main characters linked to every other character in that earth, on that earth. She killed Mr. Fantastic. She killed the Captain Marvel of that universe. She killed who else she killed? She killed the Captain America of that earth. She killed all of those people. Like, what makes you think that they are not after her? So I believe that Wanda is going to turn to Kang, and she will be working for him. Now, our Wanda in the MCU timeline, she is in a dormant state. Okay, she is technically asleep, so I don't think we are going to see her for a while. Now, in regards to all these Scarlet Witch projects, me personally, I think it's dumb. The WandaVision model worked. WandaVision made a lot of money. WandaVision is one of the most viewed shows. Why don't you make a season 2 and season 3? Make a season 2 focused on Agatha. Make a season 3 focused on the other stuff. Like, and that is my main issue with Marvel, bro, is that they want to make all these different projects when in the MCU, like before, what they did was they took all these different things and put them in one movie. So, prime example, right? They put T'Challa's dad's death in Civil War. They put the introduction to Peter Parker's Spider-Man in Civil War. They put so many different things in one movie that it was quick and it worked. Doing all these different projects, I really think that they're going to kind of like dilute a lot of the fans. And yes, my theory is that the Wanda from Earth 838 is going to be working with Kang because, as I said, our Scarlet Witch is like in a sleeping state, and the 838 Earth has to be after her because she just killed everybody. So that is my theory. And there were other stuff about this show or these Scarlet Witch like linked projects linking to a Vision Quest show where we're going to see Vision's family and all of this jazz. So that's kind of like the road that they're trying to take. Comic Cuts, how do you feel about that?
Listen, first of all, I don't care to see the Witch prequel. I don't care to see Agatha, as you know. I don't think WandaVision's streaming numbers are really indicative of anything because I think that WandaVision's numbers did so well because it was the first MCU Disney Plus show and it had so much hype around Disney Plus at the time. And, the MCU's reputation was still really good at the time. So I think there were a lot of factors that helped their WandaVision numbers, and I don't think the numbers were good because WandaVision was good, because I think WandaVision was trash.
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
Ratio.
Bro,
yeah.
stop it.
So listen, I do think they have to do something with Scarlet Witch, because you can't have someone destroy the Illuminati as savagely and quickly as she did in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. But the big problem is WandaVision happened, what, 2 or 3 years ago now. Doctor Strange is mad old too. And one of the big problems that the MCU is having right now is that they don't follow up quick enough. And by the time they follow up, if they ever do, people forget it. People have moved on, and they have to have a faster follow up, because it's almost like they have no follow up whatsoever. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. When people watch the MCU is the king of connectivity in a shared universe. They wrote the book on it, and now it's like non-existent. So I think that's a problem. And I think that if they had some kind of Scarlet Witch project coming up, that should have came out 2 years ago, or like shortly after Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, because people didn't like Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. It happened so long ago now. Most people aren't talking about it. We talk about it because we have this podcast, and we're diehard fans, and we look at everything. But I think average MCU fans, I think if you ask them last time they thought about Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, I don't think they'd be able to tell you the answer.
That's an epic rant by Kama, because that will be clipped. I low key agree with you. I low key agree. You are right, as in like the movie did happen a long time ago, and for them to try to like follow up with the story 3 years after, it does kind of hurt the narrative.
Yeah,
and fans are probably like forgotten about it. We've had Guardians and all these other projects, Handman and all of this stuff. So I definitely see your point for sure.
yeah. I mean, think about it. Like
WandaVision's not mid though. I think you're wild for saying that though. WandaVision's not mid, bro.
And listen, there's a lot of people that disagree with me on that, and that's fair. But listen, I'm open to more Wanda. I don't think Wanda's a bad character. I think WandaVision was a bad show. I've always, pretty much always been a Wanda fan. But if you look at the, earlier MCU, the follow up was really on point with that. It was 1 to 2 years, and now it's just, I mean. Eternals. I mean, how many memes have you seen about the celestial hand sticking out of Earth? And we still don't know what that is. Shang-Chi, which a lot of people would argue is the best, post-Endgame project. I don't agree with that. I think it's up there. But Shang-Chi, no one's heard about him ever since that movie came out, which is crazy. And the best follow-up that we have, and I don't even think it's debatable, is that Loki is coming out in the same year that Ant-Man Quantumania did, and we had the Victor Timely post-credit scene. So that at least is around a 6 to 8 month window. But I mean, if you look at post-Endgame stuff, what is even connected there? It's almost we're going back to the 2000s when Daredevil and Spider-Man 2 came out. And yeah, they're both Marvel movies. They both took place in New York City, but there's zero connectivity there.
Yeah, Marvel has too much going on. You have Moon Knight somewhere out there. It's just too much going on. So I definitely see your point. It's just kind of too late. But as I said, I do think there's ways that they can do it, because Wanda, as much as you hate it, bro, Wanda's the most popular character right now in the MCU, other than Spider-Man.
You're probably right.
There's no one more popular than her. There's no one more popular
on the hero side. On the hero side, maybe, but I would argue Kang is.
Kang is not more
popular
than Wanda, bro. No.
Oh,
Wanda owns TikTok. Wanda owns Instagram. I still see Wanda memes to this day. Wanda's really popular.
Wanda's also been in a lot more movies, but I don't know. For me, I'm more excited to see Kang than I am Wanda. But
And no, I mean, and you should, right? The same way I was more excited to see Thanos than Wanda, but Wanda still like WandaVision made like the Scarlet Witch like a pop culture character. Like Scarlet
yeah,
Witch was not that big until WandaVision. Like WandaVision made
when
her
I
really big.
when I went to see Doctor Strange, I kid you not, I sat next to a girl and she was in a full out Wanda costume. And I asked her, I was like, do you read comics? She's like, no. you know, like,
Yeah, bro. People love
so
Scarlet Witch.
that was pretty
Which is
strong.
which is hilarious that people love Scarlet Witch. Like as a comic book fan, it's just funny to even think that that's the
Yeah, yeah.
like, you would never think that Scarlet Witch would be popular, but
Yeah.
Yeah. What Marvel movie are you excited to see? Like one that's coming out in the next year, or what Marvel movie am I excited to see? I'm excited to see Deadpool, obviously. The Marvels, like I'm not like too head over heels over, but it's like I'm ready for it to come.
I saw something today and I think I might have sent it to you, but the director of the Marvels was saying, we're doing something different. It's kind of like funny, wacky, and silly. And it's like, how is that different? Like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm so annoyed because they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. And this one, like, I know we're excited for this movie, but I mean, first of all, this one's gonna bomb in the box office. Like, if a Marvel movie ever did bad in the box office, it's gonna be the Marvels. Most people didn't watch Miss Marvel.
It's gonna bomb hard, my brother. It's gonna bomb.
A lot of people hated Captain Marvel, and Photon hasn't been in enough where like people have an opinion on her. So and the MCU trajectory with fans. I mean, this movie has everything going against it.
And honestly, bro, here's the thing. A lot of movies have bombed just because of the state of movies. And fans, here's the thing, fans just aren't taking the BS that Hollywood was just giving us, bro. Hollywood was putting out BS for years and making billions of dollars. That's not happening in 2023. Good. If it's good content, like Guardians 3 made money because it's good content. Like that's what matters. So yeah, man. Like, and Brendan did some messages. He said Disney shows ruined Marvel. Hold on. Brendan, you can talk in the stream, bro. Just unmute yourself. And you can talk in the stream. I don't know. Like, and you're right, bro. Disney shows ice. You can
I think what it is everything's over like saturated right now because of all the shows. Like big time. Yeah, I feel like we're forcing too much content. I think we're getting like too much.
You can't hear you. You're very muffled.
Yeah, bro. I think your hands over your mic.
My thing's messed up. I said I think the state of Marvel right now it's very saturated because of the TV shows and everything.
I mean, but here's my thing, right? Like, I don't think the shows would have been an issue if Marvel focused on connecting everything together. And the part that pisses me off about the MCU right now is that these idiots had the chance to connect everything. With Moon Knight, you literally have Rama Tut right there.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you not connecting that? You know what I mean? That is BS. We have WandaVision. We have the Darkhold. Kang is responsible for creating the Darkhold, right? Why couldn't we see a connection there? There were chances, and Comic Cuts, am I right? There were chances for Marvel to connect Kang the Conqueror in between all of these movies because Kang the Conqueror isn't like Thanos. It isn't like we're going to get all these different villains. No, Kang is a multiple variant god. We're supposed to see multiple variants of Kang. But when you don't show Kang through your projects, for me, bro, that is one of the main issues that Kevin Feige has done with Kang the Conqueror is that there were perfect times to put Kang in here, like Moon Knight with Rama Tut and the freaking
Moon Knight was so fire,
Egyptian
bro.
gods. Yes, and to not put Rama Tut in there is embarrassing. And then on top of that, the disappointment in Wakanda Forever is another topic for another day. But like, there were so many places to put Kang, and you wait until freaking Ant-Man. Ant-Man?
Yeah, I know. And like Ant-Man shouldn't have been the hero that faced off against Kang. That was so ridiculous.
Hell nah, bro. Hell nah. That's some bull. That's some bull jive.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So, but yeah, I'm excited for Deadpool 3 for sure. And yeah, it's probably getting delayed because of the strike. So, which is sad. Okay. I know you want to go off about Hugh Jackman and Andrew Garfield being in Secret Wars. So before I cook you on that, bro, I'm gonna let you go off. It's all you.
All right.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I love Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I disagree. I think this is a massive L, and I'll tell you why. I don't think the MCU has enough going for it right now that to leave all the hype going into Secret Wars for the hype to be based on cameos and not the story going into Secret Wars, which should be the time runs out, and new Avengers, Hickman saga. Like, I just think fans are so crazy about demanding cameos, and once they find out they're getting them, they don't stop talking about them or shut up about it. And like, if all the hype around these movies are based on cameos, that's a problem. It's a really big problem, and I think that they should focus on the story leading into it and creating hype with the current slate of movies, and not pull out the easy gimmick of saying, you know what, we're going to get Hugh Jackman in it. Yay. Like, it's just a gimmick, and it doesn't mean the movie's going to be good that these characters are in the movie. What's going to make the payoff big is if the story leading into it is good and people are invested into the story going into it. And if they're not, that cameo gimmick isn't going to make the movie better if they're not invested. And that's a problem.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I want to answer this question real fast, and then we'll get into the cooking of comic cuts. Should all Disney Plus characters plus series be a special presentation, or should they just drop the entire episodes in one day? I mean, as I said,
one day.
Yeah, my issue isn't how they're dropping them. My issue is the content itself just sucks. I would be fine with the shows if they were connected and they didn't suck, and they're not making shows with stupid characters like Echo. And you could just put Echo's whole entire story into 2 episodes of freaking Daredevil. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, comic cuts, man. Okay,
let them cook.
Dude, you're about
I love saying that.
I know.
Go for it.
So, okay, boom. All right, I'm gonna just put you in the cast iron and sit you on hot for 2 minutes, flip you on for 2 other minutes, and eat you up. All right, pause. Sounded kind of sus. So,
hey, yo.
Yeah, that sounded kind of sus. So here's the thing. Number 1, bro, Daredevil. I mean, not Daredevil. Wolverine is in what movie? What movie is he going to be in?
Deadpool 3. But he fits into Deadpool 3.
Hey, stop talking. All right, hold on. I want to. Easy work, man. Caveman can do it. Okay, so boom, he's in Deadpool 3. The goal of Wolverine being here from the start, the goal of Secret Wars is to bring back all of these characters. So why are you angry over?
That's not the goal of Secret Wars.
Yes, it is. The goal. Let me say one of the goals of Secret Wars, other than defeating Kang and the reset and all this stuff, is to bring back the nostalgia of the past. And I don't think you should be mad that they're using Secret Wars to do that. Because if that's the case, then Thanos' last battle should have just been the original 6, and that's it. It shouldn't have been all of the other.
That, first of all, that wasn't a gimmick, number one. That was a follow-up to the prequel movie, which wasn't a prequel, but you get what I'm saying. The first one. And number 2, the Secret Wars comics aren't about, bringing retro characters back. It was about Reed Richards, kind of taking out Doctor Doom, who stole his family and took everything from him. And it's an in-depth character analysis on the biggest rivalry in Marvel Comics with the biggest villain, number one. And number two is I just think that, listen, I'm a huge sneaker guy, and I always, whenever like you see a picture of a shoe and it's not like, put out by Nike or like a publication, a lot of people fall for it. And it's the same thing. It's like these brands get these photos to like influencers, and the influencers are like, oh, I got a leaked pic. It's not leaked. And I think it's the same thing here. A lot of these rumors come out because there are clout chasers, but a lot of them come out because Marvel is testing with people how they react to things. And I don't think that, I think they see that they don't have a lot going for them. The Kamek Gimeo works. The Kamek Gimeo, the cameo gimmick is big everywhere, and it has to stop. And you can't, Secret Wars, the hype of Secret Wars riding on cameos is a huge problem. And I promise you, if you can't see that now, if it happens, you're going to be sorry.
Battle World. How do you think they're going to do? So, bro, what do you want Battle World to freaking be then? Do you want it just to be a bunch of random made-up characters?
I don't think you need like the thing about Secret Wars is it's not Battle World. I know it's called Battle World, and there are a lot of different battles going on, but the Secret Wars actual storyline, it's not like an end game style battle where there's like a huge showdown. It's really a battle. It's a character depth analysis. There's like almost espionage to it. And it's not like this big spectacle. So you don't need all these cameos. You don't even need a lot of characters. Really,
but
as long as you have Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, and Doom, you're good.
But that's not going to work in actual movie theaters. And you know why?
Have the showdown in Kang Dynasty.
Because there are other characters that are going to be worked into the story, because this is a culmination of everything, bro.
So use Captain America. Use Sam Wilson. Hype up these characters that are in the MCU, that you have movies for them coming out, that you're trying to prop up.
What is the
Don't
problem
bring in
bringing Hugh
Wolverine
Jackman
from the 2000s. I think it's a gimmick, and I think it's a cop out from selling the characters that you already have, because I think
they don't have no characters to sell. They don't got no characters.
What do you mean they don't have no characters to sell?
Bro,
they have Moon Knight. They have Sam Wilson. They have Kate Bishop. They have Hawkeye. I mean, they have all these characters. They have to sell them. That should be the roster and the others. But like, I'll never be. I will never be for the camera.
If you and I were in Kevin Feige's position and we had Hugh Jackman in our back pocket, you and I both know we will be like, yo, you're in Secret Wars. No hesitation. If you had somebody like Andrew Garfield in your back pocket, you're in Secret Wars. No hesitation, bro. Like, come on.
Why would I use Andrew Garfield when I have Tom Holland?
Huh?
Why would I use Andrew Garfield when I have Tom Holland?
Because you can. I mean, I don't really see the issue with bringing in someone like Hugh Jackman when it's
such a gimmick. And by the way, by the time Secret Wars comes out, I think there's going to be other people that agree with me. I think I'm very ahead of the curve on this because, I'm shocked that I am, and I'm shocked that I'm in the minority here. But this cameo thing is such a gimmick. It's destroying projects.
You've always hated cameos. I don't think cameos have to destroy projects, because I think that it is the directors and the writers relying on cameos. I think that's the main issue. But
That's my point.
Yes.
And they don't have enough hype going into Secret Wars right now. Well, I think them relying. I agree. I don't think cameos like as a standalone thing.
And that's
is a
problem.
What
I'm saying.
But,
hold on. Look, we can hold on because look, right. I'm saying this. You can have 90% of the freaking story be about Reed, Doom, and whoever. Reed, Doom, and Doctor Strange, or whoever, and Kang, and AKA, and really to make the Beyonder and Kang one character. But I do think that in the last battle, you can have other characters and it won't hurt the story because you're not depending on these characters to resurrect your story. That's why I have such a problem with No Way Home.
Like, look at
No Way Home.
Look at
Toby and
I
Andrew.
agree. I agree, but look at like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. The only good part of that movie was the Illuminati part,
That's not
which
true.
had cameos.
That's not true. That's a lie. That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, I think a lot of people would agree with me on that one.
I think a lot of people hated them actually. I think those were the worst cameos we've ever seen in Marvel, in my opinion.
Well, that's because they were really good, but I still think that cameos or not, I think that Illuminati scene was the best scene in that movie.
That Illuminati scene was the worst writing I've ever seen in my life for any character. And you and I both can agree on that.
I just think that movie sucked. Like, I thought it was one of the worst MCU movies.
What are you doing this Saturday? Wait, what are you doing this Saturday, my man?
Long story short, I actually have Best Buy coming to replace the TV and sound system. I don't know what time they're going to be done, but they messed up, and I told them that they got to replace everything because these guys that came to install it. I almost ripped these fucking guys' heads off. But yeah, why you wanna do a watch party?
We might do a watch party for Doctor Strange, man. We might.
I know you've wanted to do a Doctor Strange watch party for a while.
Because I hate Doctor Strange. But it's funny because
we should do a round table on it after and debate if the movie was good, if the cameos helped it. I
think it's hilarious because I hate Doctor Strange 1 and I love Multiverse. Well, I like Multiverse of Madness, and you like Doctor Strange 1 and you hate MOM. So it's an interesting way. Okay, next time.
I always refer to it in my head as multiverse, not so much madness.
It's all good. All right, let's get into this, man. No. Oh. Spider-Man Lotus, the fan film, flopped. What a great day in fandom, okay? Comic Cuts, I'll let you go off, and then I'll go off about Spider-Man. And then, Brendan, have you heard about this project?
Yeah, I seen it.
Dude,
you got to talk to Mike again, bro.
Yeah, the first day, everyone was raving about it, and then everyone turned on it so quick.
Exactly. All right, Comic Cuts.
So,
all you.
I will not watch a movie if I don't think it's going to be good. Point blank. I don't care, how much hype is around it. My time is limited. It's valuable. And if you can't sell me that I'm going to enjoy something, I am not going to waste my time with it. So I think you know where I'm going with this. I did not watch Spider-Man Lotus. Stevie did. He told me he didn't like it. That was enough for me to believe my own conviction.
Yeah,
I do think what's interesting though was this movie. First of all, like they didn't do fan films justice. Like there's going to be other fan films that come out, and this was like the one fan film that got so much hype, and I think that going by the consensus after the movie, I think that it's going to be tough to sell people on a fan film again. You have to realize, like, fan film obviously by nature are low budget, and I don't hold that against them, but you have to realize you fan film makers are trying to sell an audience that has the luxury of the MCU and like, the DCEU for, all its faults. Like those are high budget movies that are well made. And I did like skim through it a little bit, and it just looked like the Gavin, like, and I get it. He's a huge Spider-Man fan, so am I, but it looked like he wanted to make a project to pay homage to things he's liked about Spider-Man, like Spider-Man No More, the kid who collected Spider-Man, Spider-Man Blue, and like it was almost like everything I skimmed through was like something else taken out of the comics, and it was like just a big messy Rubik's cube of Spider-Man homage, which is crazy, but I think next time a fan film comes out and there's some hype, I think they're gonna have trouble selling it because people are gonna be like, yeah, I there was that one fan film that had a lot of hype. I watched it for 2 hours and I couldn't wait for it to end. which I saw a lot of people said they could not wait for it to end. What's also crazy is, the controversy around it. Like, I didn't read so much into it. I know that the guys, had some, racist text messages, which obviously is not cool. But I thought it was like kind of funny how one day everyone was like, cancel, cancel, cancel. And then everyone wanted to watch the movie. So people forgot that they wanted to cancel him. Funny how that works. It's all about convenience.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm about to pull up this review real quick. Hold up, Brendan. You can talk about it while I grab this. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I gave it the first like 10 minutes, bro. That first car scene, oh my god, it literally looked like out of a video game. I was like, hold on, am I actually watching Spider-Man here? And then what was it, the first fight sequence? It was so corny. After that scene, the electric thing, I was like, yo, I'm turning this off. It was bad, bro.
Yeah, I 100% agree, bro. I saw Spider-Man. I actually watched the whole 2 hour movie. Me and my wife were going down to Maryland, so I had a really long car ride, so I spent my time watching it. And let me tell you, that is one of the most trash fan films I've ever seen. And I've seen some really good fan films in my day. That was
Really?
so freaking yeah. I've seen really good fan films in my day. That fan film
That's
was
good to
really
hear.
bad. Yeah, I've seen really good ones. That was really bad, bro. Let me see if I can pull this review up. Wait, why is it look
Yeah,
so blurry?
I thought I had promised because the whole entire comment section on YouTube, they were talking about, oh my god, like it really shows the character of Peter Parker and focuses on the characters and everything, the development of him, and how it was so good. And then it just flopped the very next day.
It's crazy that it got 1 million views in 24 hours, though. Like, good or not, that's impressive on its own.
Facts.
Yeah, because I had two things hyping up. I had the racism thing behind it and then the hype behind it at the same time.
Controversy sells.
Yeah, Comic Cuts. Can you read this review?
Yeah, I'm gonna
sick,
put my
so
glasses on for a second.
I can't read all of it.
No worries.
Thank you, bro.
So, putting aside,
hold on, Comic Cuts. I'm actually going to text you the image so you can reread off your phone.
Okay.
Hold on. Sending it right now.
I think I have it. Yeah, I have it. You sent it to me the other day. Don't worry about it.
I bet. Thank you.
Putting aside the apparent comments from some of this film's creatives and judging Spider-Man Lotus on its own merits, which, by the way, like that's how movies should be judged, whether you like or something not. Anyway, the suit looks great. Some of the action's choreographed and shot well, and some of the VFX look good. A lot of the VFX are bad, but I won't judge since it's a low-budget fan film. However, overall, this is poorly made, even for a fan film. It is overly long, poorly paced, and boring. Some of the acting is decent, but a lot of it was bad. The writing was repetitive and made the film meander. There was very poor direction as well, improper use of establishing shots, bad sound mixing, too many fades to black, a dependence on voiceover, etc. In conclusion, Gavin, you're not better than John Watts, Kevin Feige, or the MCU Spider-Man. You don't have some profound and revelatory take on Spider-Man and his cast of characters, and you aren't the savior of the Spider-Man character. However, you did mark a milestone for the character. Congratulations. Due to the length of your poorly made vanity project, you just made the worst feature-length Spider-Man movie in history. Wow.
Bro got cooked.
Yeah.
That is that's the best way to put how you feel. That's how I felt about it. Perfect way.
And that's kind of what I was like just saying too, what I was getting from it, that they really cared so much about like paying homage to their favorite Spider-Man stories, which like I said, it sounds like a messy Rubik's Cube. You can't do that, and you have to focus on the story first before you get to do things like pay homage and all those kind of things. And listen, I don't know what it's like to make a movie. I mean, I made short films in high school for like projects and stuff, but I'm not a movie maker or anything. But yeah, I would imagine that you should focus on the story before you focus on paying homage.
I 100% agree, man. And I think that's one of the reasons why I took an L. They didn't focus on writing. They didn't focus on. It's honestly just about these little moments that they really focused on, and it's embarrassing because did this movie take like a long time to make too?
Yeah. And by the way, you know what else was corny to me? I remember the girl who played MJ when all the controversy went down. She was like so adamant in calling out Gavin and the kid who plays Peter Parker, and how she was so disgusted and everything. And then when the movie got hyped again and it was coming out, all of a sudden she's best friends with them. She forgives them. And again, it seems like, that whole moment was all about like optics and not really about what people actually believed. And I think that's pretty shitty.
100% agree. 100% agree, man. Yeah, I like. I think Star Wars is the best brand to do fan fictions on. I think Marvel and all those fan fictions should be untouched. I don't like Superman fan fictions. I don't like Spider-Man fan fictions. I like Power Ranger fan fictions. I like characters like that. Like bro, because so hold on. Fan fictions are supposed to be meant for characters that don't have a lot of background around them, or they don't. My mic got
Now I can hear you.
But fan films are made to give characters that haven't been focused on more like more what's the word, like more of a background story. Why are you making a fan film on Spider-Man when there's been over 9 movies about this character? Why was this fan film being created from the start when there's already been a blueprint on how to do it?
Because they wanted to.
And people are going to hate it though.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a good reason or not. Like, I also think, I forget who said this, but it was someone like John Favreau or someone big in the business that's big in our favorite genre, and they were saying how comic book movies took off at the time that they did because it was finally believable that Iron Man could fly, obviously because of CGI. And when you make a movie like this, you just have to keep in mind, if it doesn't look realistic, it's going to look goofy as hell. And I don't know, to make one of these movies like low budget, they're putting $200 million plus into these comic book movies that we're all watching. I mean, they're like the most well-developed movies like ever, and it's just you're not going to be able to win over that same audience, even though they know it's a low-budget movie. Like that same audience, they're also watching No Way Home. Like we're also watching No Way Home. We are that audience.
100% agree. Yeah, man. So, hey, Brennan, do you have anything else to say about it or no?
Not really. I was kind of listening.
Yeah, it's mid. I mean, it's mid. It's worse than mid. It's just terrible. It deserved what it got, and I bet you.
What did Emily think?
She didn't watch it. It has to have at least 10,000 dislikes on the YouTube as well. So, and they probably didn't even make any money off of it. So it's kind of crazy. Okay, so Fantastic Four castings. I know you wanted to talk about Sue Storm. Did you want to talk about I think it's Vanessa Kirby being casted, right?
Yeah. Listen, I think it's a great casting. They picked her up at the perfect time. awesome in Mission Impossible.
which
You
lost
know,
$100 million, sadly.
yeah, but I also think that has to do with coming out, right before Barbie and Oppenheimer.
I agree.
The economy's not good, and people going to the movies right now, like not everyone has that kind of money to just spend on and go to all these movies. A lot of people are like deciding to see one movie this summer, and also, because of Oppenheimer, they didn't get that long to be in IMAX. So there were a lot of things going against them. But Vanessa Kirby was great. I just, it's just crazy that we don't have the other castings. And it's nice to have one of them actually confirmed. I'm pretty sure Marvel confirmed it.
What, that
Vanessa Kirby
casting?
plays too?
No, it is not confirmed.
Okay. Oh, well, then I'm not going to believe it until it is. Because we have heard so many different castings for Fantastic Four, which, by the way, keep in mind when you read something that, like, a lot of these guys that are saying it want you to see it, screenshot it, send a tweet to a friend, because then their follower base grows.
Yes,
Then
and
that
guys,
tweet
yes,
does better. So,
and just letting you guys know, when we talk about it on our channel, when you guys see it, right, I always say rumor. I never say it's fact. I'll tell you if I think it's true or not, or if it's true, but we never confirm it until it comes out of the mouth of Marvel Studios.
listening comprehension is key, my friends.
Yes, we talk about a lot of rumors and leaks, but we do not confirm them until we see Marvel Studios posting it themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, so Vanessa Kirby, rumors that Adam Driver apparently didn't connect with Reed.
I don't think Adam Driver is perfect for Reed. I think he's perfect for Doctor Doom.
I agree.
I also could see him like not wanting to be in Marvel for some reason. I think he's like.
I think he's a little jaded from Star Wars, honestly.
That's what I'm saying, and like I feel like if he feels like, listen, he probably is like, listen, I did Kylo Ren, and if I do another like nerd movie character, like I'm gonna be typecasted into those roles for the rest of my career. And I think that he is like an Oscars guy. Not to say that he's like dying to get an Oscar, but like he was in the Black Klansman, and I just think there's a lot of movies that he wants to do that are like real like dramas and like real artsy movies.
You want to know the rumors I heard about him?
Yeah.
I heard that he's being scouted by James Gunn. I heard that he's being scouted to do a big Lord of the Rings project. Apparently, they're trying to pay him over $50 million to do a Lord of the Rings project. I also heard he might be in talks to do some Game of Thrones work. I think that's what Adam Driver. I think Adam Driver wants to go into those type of movies. And if Adam Driver isn't, I love him. That's why. If Adam Driver,
I was a kid, but like I'm not into the whole fantasy thing.
Yep. If Adam Driver is in the DCU, that'll be a big win for James Gunn.
Yeah.
What character would he be? I don't know, but
yeah,
an actor of that caliber in James Gunn DCU that would be fire. I think Adam Driver.
I can see him being a good Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow.
I
feel like he deserves a bigger character than that.
Yeah, he has to be
crush it.
Yeah, I don't know who he could be, bro. I don't know. It has to be someone that's like out of the box,
Yeah, I also feel like, by the way, like Scarecrow, is so underrated. And I know people loved him in Batman Begins, but he wasn't the big bad in that. And we got to talk about Batman villain talk. Should that be?
Yeah, that is. I forgot to add that.
I'm going to say
it in our document. But yeah, we can talk about that.
I have a lot to say about that.
Okay, but yeah, so far in castings, there's been a lot of names, but honestly, guys, we don't know who's going to be freaking casted, man. It's just been so many freaking back and forth. I don't know, man. But I do think Adam Driver will be a dope Dr. Fate, though. But yeah, man. I just don't know, man. Marvel just come up with the freaking casts, man. I am
Yeah.
low key about to be done making videos about fantastic forecasting rumors because I feel like I've done over 30 of them, and like it's literally. And the last time and the reason why I want to be done because the last rumor I heard that they were trying to cast Matt Smith. He played Damon in freaking House of Dragon. He looks nothing like Reed Richards
Dude, he looks
whatsoever.
nothing like him.
He looks freaking terrible.
Said it. Yeah.
It looks terrible. So and when I read that, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm kind of done talking about the fantastic forecastings. And while we're talking about being done, telling myself, I will say this. If the Ahsoka show is bad, we might not be covering Star Wars on this page for a while. Just let you guys know. Just let you guys know. Yeah, so as in the fantastic forecasters, man, we just need this. We just need answers, man. Okay. Emma Stone haircut. I know you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
What's up?
I just don't think she got that haircut and posted that picture for no reason. I love Emma Stone as an actor. I've always been a fan of her. She was phenomenal as Gwen in The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Listen, I think the Miles Morales MCU intro is inevitable. Some of the best Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse might be the very best Spider-Man movie ever. Probably under Spider-Man 2, but still like a strong number 2. I think she's coming back as Gwen. Like I don't think she's doing that to, play games. Like it's a pretty serious haircut. She looks just like Gwen from this. So I think there's something in the works, and I think this was her way of hyping it up without, verbally confirming it.
Listen to me, clear people. She's in Spider-Man 4.
Would be dope. That would be so dope. And
with Tom Holland.
I know. And by the way, we deserve a Gwen moment. And I know
No. I think her and Peter are gonna fall in love.
Oh no, I know. I don't think it's a cameo. I think
it's gonna be
serious.
It's gonna be an incursion. I think the multiverse is gonna get jacked up.
I see.
Peter and Gwen Stacy are gonna get together, and it's gonna be Tom Holland.
I think she might just be Gwen Stacy in the Tom Holland universe, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be an incursion.
She's kind of old. I don't know. Kind of old, man. 34.
Yeah, but she still looks young. Hey, I'm 32. But listen, I she doesn't have to be from another universe. She could be the MCU universe version of her Taz himself. And by the way, I know Spider-Man fans are always complaining about MJ. I'm a little behind on the current Spider-Man run, but I know that there was something recently with spoilers for the Zeb Wells run. If you haven't read it yet and you're holding out, but apparently there was something in it that kind of confirmed that Peter's over MJ. It's in the past.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
Which is good. Good for him.
Yeah, it's similar to the Snyder Cut. They have to rip the Band-Aid off because if they don't, they're going to hear about it for eternity. And if they get back with MJ, they're going to have to end Spider-Man with MJ again. And you all are just going to complain about it some more. So they kind of have to do it. And for those of you who are like, oh, well, why can't Peter Parker just be happy? You don't understand Spider-Man. The whole thing about Spider-Man is the sacrifice. And even if you don't read the comics, if you've seen No Way Home, you should understand that. And I don't care how many Spider-Man comics you've read. If you are still asking that question, you do not understand Spider-Man. It's that simple.
Peter was made to take the L. That's how it always ends.
It's sad. I know we all love him. We all want him to be happy, but that's just not his in the cards for him. That's the whole point of him being Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility, and that responsibility is a sacrifice.
And y'all have seen him have kids with MJ, so deal with it, And I wouldn't. I think they're going to use Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy to show us that the multiverse is breaking because it's going to be another Gwen Stacy. But yeah, I mean, if she is Gwen Stacy in the MCU, I guess it would make sense. We would have to wait and see, I guess. But
Here's the thing about the
yeah, we'll
incursion
see.
in Spider-Man 4. The other reason, as much as I want to see more from the incursions, and I would love for it to be Spider-Man to get to deal with that, I don't think it should be in Spider-Man 4 because I think Spider-Man 4 should be a very grounded Spider-Man. They did a spectacle trilogy with Spider-Man already in the MCU. It's time for like an authentic, true Spider-Man story in the MCU, and that story doesn't involve something as big of a spectacle as an incursion.
Yeah, but you can still honor a grounded story with doing a variant because she could just be there, and then Peter's like, wait, like Peter could just find out in the end, and the movie ends because the thing is that this movie is supposed to come out like around the time of the Avengers movies, so it has to honor the time that it's in somehow. So
Yeah.
I think bro, I think you could still have a grounded story, you know what I mean, and still like have this multiversal thing happening. But hey, we'll see what happens, man. It will be very interesting.
For sure.
But yep, okay. So next. Oh, I renamed it Mr. Freeze rant. That's because okay. Go ahead. Go get on your Batman villains train.
So Batman has arguably the best rogues gallery in all of comics, and there are so many amazing villains to choose from for who should be the villains and the main villain ultimately in the Batman Part 2. I think personally, there's no question the Court of Owls is the best choice for a lot of reasons. There's a mystery behind them, there's secret society, they're multiple steps ahead of Batman always, to the point that when he found out about them, he kind of felt down on himself for not knowing they even existed. And even if your choice isn't the Court of Owls, I mean, there are at least like 10, maybe even 20 names to choose from before ever getting to someone like Mr. Freeze, who is one of the most boring villains ever. He sucks. And I'm so tired of hearing about, well, there's a lot of water in Gotham, and Mr. Freeze could freeze the water, so he's the perfect villain for the Batman Part 2. I mean, that is such a simple, thin answer. And you know what? I saw a tweet the other day that why not Man-Bat? And I'm just like, who's next? Professor Pig? I mean, do you people really want these to be the villains of the Batman Part 2? Are you out of your mind? I mean, Ra's al Ghul, the Penguin, the Joker, Scarecrow. I mean, the list goes on. There are so many good choices to pick from. But every time I see a conversation about the Batman Part 2 villains, it's always the most boring, the worst villains. Like, I'm so confused. It's crazy to me. And I promise you, if Mr. Freeze is the villain, you're going to regret wanting that. If Man-Bat is the villain, you're going to regret wanting that. And I'm sure someone's going to see this and they're going to be like, oh, Professor Pig, that's actually a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. It's a terrible idea. Don't do it. The Batman has great villains. Like, don't go for these bottom tier characters. It's so dumb. And to say that like fans haven't, been convicted before and had terrible ideas, it's the same people who also said T'Challa shouldn't have been recasted. We all saw how that turned out. It's just so crazy to me that like we're even having a conversation about Mr. Freeze or Man-Bat for the Batman Part 2. I mean, these characters suck. There's a reason, by the way, that they never use these characters in the comics. It's because they suck. They're boring. No one cares about them, except for people who don't read comics and are on Twitter all day. It's fucking nuts. All right, rant over.
Okay, so I agree. I don't want to see Mr. Freeze in this. The Batman's already building up something very dope. So you could do a 2-part Batman movie, would be perfect. I know I said before that there needs to be a Robin. Now that we're getting Robin in the DCU Batman, I'm totally fine with them just doing strictly solo Batman stories. I need Batman to be very, very experienced. I need the fighting. I need the fight choreography to be 10 times better than what we saw from.
We need more action in this one.
Yes, a lot more action. Better fighting, better just everything. Better gadgets, better Batmobile. Everything just needs to be upgraded in this film, and I believe that Matt Reeves is going to deliver that to us. I really do. But as in the villains, I think the best thing is the Court of Owls and having Penguin, play into it, and other characters be working for the Court of Owls, because the Court of Owls is like the top dogs in Gotham. And we kind of already got, and I think
the Court of Owls is like the Illuminati of Gotham, the secret society Illuminati. Like
exactly. And the Riddler was already building to it inside of the movie, because like,
how did he know everything?
Exactly. And Riddler was saying like, you are a part of something bigger. And I don't think that we saw what Bruce Wayne was a part of. And I believe when Riddler said that, he's referring to a greater power. And I believe that that's kind of the intro to what the Court of Owls is. And so I believe the seeds were already planted for the Court of Owls. I believe that was Matt Reeves' I feel like that's Matt Reeves' master plan. So I believe that's what we're going to get next. Now, we're obviously going to go to get side characters. Like, we might get Clayface and other characters like that. Yeah, and other characters like that. But I do think that the Court of Owls are going to be like the main, villains of the movie, of these next 2 Batman films.
I wonder if Joker is going to be in it. I part of me thinks at first when obviously he was in that small part, and then that 5-minute deleted scene, DC had dropped that, and my first thought was, oh well, they probably cut that because they didn't want the spotlight to be on the Joker because he wasn't the main villain in the movie, and they didn't want it to take away from the Riddler. But now I'm kind of thinking maybe they cut that because if they didn't, everyone would be expecting the Joker for the part 2. And I know a lot of people have said this, and I kind of agree with it. I don't think the villain of part 2 should be the Joker. I just think there is so much Joker content out there that, we not to say I'm bored of the Joker. If it was the Joker, I would still be super hyped for it. There's a reason the Joker is the most popular Batman character, villain out of what I just said is arguably the best rogues gallery. So I don't think, Barry Keoghan's Joker would be a bad thing. But, it's definitely not the top of my list. Court of Owls, what also would be really cool with the Court of Owls too is if Oswald was running for mayor or became mayor, with the Court of Owls, kind of pushing, making that happen. That would be a really cool story. And, for everyone who likes to say, oh, well, the water's already there, and Mr. Freeze can freeze the water. The Penguin's also
People
already
are
there,
so
too.
stupid, bro. I swear, bro.
So stupid. It's like the
water crap
dumbest,
drives me crazy.
Well, yeah, there's water, and Mr. Freeze. I mean, think about how dumb that sounds. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was a free stuff drives me nuts, bro. It does. It drives me crazy. But yeah, I also agree, man. I think that there's a lot that you can do with Penguin, Court of Owls, Riddler. And as I said before, the Riddler stuff is hinting at other stuff, and plus with the Joker,
and
man,
he's still there. He's locked up, but he's alive. Yeah. And by the way, a lot of the dopest Batman scenes take place when Batman goes to jail to see a villain, which we had. He did go to jail to see the Riddler, which was one of the best scenes of the movie.
I agree. And they should do the Joker because we have a bunch of biased Heath fans, and they would just kill the movie. So let's not even go that route.
By the way, that's similar to Chadwick, because now they're like, oh, don't recast Chadwick. Listen, Chadwick's great. No disrespect to him, but like, it's crazy. Like if an actor
Chadwick would have
plays a
wanted
comic
them
book
to
character,
recast.
yeah, and he 100% would have. But it's like crazy that if a character in our favorite genre passes, it's like people are like, oh, that's it. We can't see that character again. It's crazy. I mean, obviously we got Joaquin Phoenix, but we've never had the Joker as a villain in a Batman movie, live action movie since.
Dark Knight, which was mid. Okay, all right.
You even
Now
told me
we're
you
going
liked it. You just love saying that.
I didn't tell you I liked it.
Yeah, you did.
I said it's better than it's better than what I think.
It's crazy. Dude, that's like one of the best.
I'm like day to day, man. It's like I do hate the movie. I do. But like, don't you know how like I hate Avatar, but Avatar, it doesn't mean that it's a bad film.
So like with Avatar, I enjoy watching it, but I think they get so overhyped. And like as much as I enjoyed the second one, it was the same movie, just with water. I'm gonna say that water every time.
The way the water is so annoying, bro.
Yeah.
I hate
It's
movies
mad.
that are water.
Yeah.
Except Aquaman.
The bloody water. Yeah.
You're an Aquaman hater too, but by the way. All right.
I know.
So Ahsoka Show dropped one of the best Star Wars trailers of all time last week. I'm very excited for the show. This is the reality for the Ahsoka Show. Everything lives and dies on this project. If this project is trash, the majority of Star Wars fans will be done with Star Wars until Disney sells it. Or until new leadership comes in the fold. So this Ahsoka Show is do or die. Ahsoka is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and Anakin's going to be in the show. There's like really characters, Balin and Shin and Thrawn and Night Sisters. There's a lot. We're going into the unknown, and we're going into the unknown regions, the new beyond. We're going to be exploring parts of space that we never seen before. Sabine is a Jedi. Ezra Bridger's going to be in the show. I mean, Hera's in the show. There's so many things that's going on. So I pray to God that this show is as good as it seems, and we just need good content, man. Because if this show sucks, I'm not covering Star Wars for a long time.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I know some people are gonna go crazy, but like out of Marvel and DC and Star Wars, like Star Wars is just like the bottom of the three for me. Not to say I don't like Star Wars, like I do love it, and like I loved it growing up, and I still do. But I don't know. I just think pound for pound, I guess. Well, it's hard to say that against DC because DC has had some total trash movies.
Yeah,
but
I think Star Wars has the best content out of the three.
Oh, I disagree. I think pound for pound, they don't do so well. They've had a lot of bad movies, and they don't have as many movies.
No. I'm not saying like in movies that they've made, but I think that like character and story wise, I think Star Wars out of the three has the potential to be the biggest, because Star Wars as movie fandom has been massive with little story that they've put out. If they actually dug into what they had, they would be so much larger than what they are. And I think that Star Wars story is just one of the greatest stories of all time. I think Star Wars is one of the greatest universes of all time. Now, is it greater than DC? I'm not sure, because for me, I think DC has the greatest universe of all time. But I do think Star Wars is like top two for me. And it is a shame to see how, George Lucas's vision of this universe has been legit destroyed by people who don't know the actual content, people who just want to make movies. And, I heard this really great thing, Comic Cuts, and this is the thing about Star Wars. They said this. They said they need to ask directors this. And I believe this is why, another reason why the MCU has been doing bad. You know why? Because
people that don't love it.
No, that is one of the reasons, though. But one of the things is this, right? Is that a lot of people made MCU content to add on to the story, not to make a name for themselves and to change the game, right? Like the Russos made Captain America the Winter Soldier to carry on the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jon Favreau made Iron Man 1 to carry on the story. It wasn't to change the game and to make a name for herself. It was to push the narrative and the story. In Star Wars, they've been trying to make these films to make names for themselves. Why do you think Rian Johnson to destroy Luke Skywalker and change him up as a character? It was to make a name for himself, to be like the guy that changed everything, instead of honoring what came before and to carry on the story. And I believe Sam Raimi did that in Doctor Strange. He tried to make a name for himself. He didn't carry on the story. I believe we've been seeing that a lot. And that's why when you get the Mandalorian, other than season 3, which is trash, but when you get
I didn't even finish it.
Yeah, but when you get people like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, the guy who's writing Ahsoka, the guy who created Ahsoka, my favorite Star Wars character, one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. They care about what George Lucas created. And when you make these projects, you have to go back and watch it. Just like I'm watching freaking Snow White, right? The girl. This stupid girl said, I'm not even a Snow White fan. Then why the hell are you cast? Why would the directors cast this hussy as Snow White if she's not a freaking fan of the character?
She's just not a fan. She obviously hates it. She was like, the original came out in 1937, and evidently so. And this one isn't about love. It's not about this. So it's not Snow White. I mean, like, and Disney has been losing so much money, and here they are, like, making this Snow White movie and having this girl like shitting on the source material. The movie was already going to bomb, but she just like made it fall off even further, which is crazy to me. And I forget who it was, but it was someone who made a comic book movie. And this was just today. I'm blanking on the name, but like he admitted that he never really cared for the movie, the source material, and I just like, I guess it's nice to hear brutal honesty, but like, that's the problem. And to your point of, the filmmakers doing it to make a name for himself, like that's what Taika did with Thor, and he ruined Thor. I mean, that was so bad. If there's any MCU movie I wish I never saw, it's Thor: Love and Thunder.
100%. So, you and me both expect Ahsoka to be a good show. So I'm actually excited and I can't wait for it. So,
and by the way, I hope they recast Balin. Like, terrible Rey passed, especially so young.
They already talked about it. That they're talking with.
Here's the other thing too about.
Do you know who's going to be possibly taking a spot?
The other thing about recasting him, which I think would be so good for, I'm just going to start calling it our favorite genre, is because I think if they recast Balin, it's going to show people, it's going to make people comfortable with recasting after an actor's death. And I think that's like a pill that the fandom needs to swallow, and the sooner the better.
Yeah. Exactly. So Russell Crowe might be taking that role.
He would kill it.
I agree. He'll be perfect as Balin, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But we all both expect it to be good. Now, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle comes out Thursday. Big show.
Listen, a lot of people are hyping it up,
or big movie. My bad.
People are saying it's amazing, and listen, I think it looks like a good movie, a fun movie, but I wouldn't expect this movie to be an innovator in.
It's going to flop.
Genre.
It's going to flop.
It's definitely going to flop.
And they're showing, and they're paying homage to Man of Steel, so James Gunn's probably going to scrap the movie. To be honest with you.
Why would he scrap it? Why would he care?
Just listen. Just trust me, bro.
I don't think he's a hater like that.
It's not hate.
Just trying to move on from the fandom.
Have you heard the narrative that's been going around lately with him? That he hates Henry Cavill?
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. a lot of people are mixing business with personal feelings. James Gunn doesn't hate Henry Cavill. He just understands that the dude is 40 years old and he wants a Superman that's young. And look, Cavill
I
didn't fit
also
his
think
vision for Superman, and that's totally fine. Ben Affleck
as
didn't
much
fit his
as
vision for Batman. It isn't that he hates these characters. It's just the
I
facts.
I also think as much as they gave James
Mm.
Gunn like the full reins and creative control, I think there are probably a couple of things that David Zaslav and the head honchos at Warner Brothers, were like, non-negotiables. And I think one of them was, full reboot, recast, like no Henry Cavill. And I think it was because of the age thing. And I think they've just had enough of the Snyder fans. I mean, they gave these people the Snyder cut, and they're still throwing a fit. They probably thought, we'll put the Snyder cut out. It'll do good for HBO Max. We'll, put a smile on these fans' faces, and that'll be the end of it. And boy, were they wrong. I mean, you have grown men acting like they're 5 years old, and they are still throwing a fit about it on Twitter till this very second. Fucking nuts.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
they want nothing to do with them, and I don't blame them.
I agree, man. And I just don't like the narrative that he hates him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like, man. Like it's just
James Gunn seems like a good dude.
yeah, man. It's not that he hates Cavill. I even think Cavill understands. James Gunn has his own vision, man. And to reboot, you can't keep using the main characters to try to start something new every time.
Especially with all the baggage. And by the way, that baggage, that's the Snyder Cut fan, the Zack Snyder fan, though. I mean, they are baggage.
Yeah, they destroyed Zack Snyder destroyed.
We were gonna get a Batman Beyond movie, and they ruined it.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
I would have liked the Batman Beyond movie.
Too late, too soon.
I think the Batman Beyond is a criminally underdeveloped character.
I agree, but we need to earn that, like give us a connective timeline where we can get
Fair.
There, like finish Bruce Wayne's story, give us a Dick Grayson's Batman for a little bit, and then give us something crazy,
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So yeah, man, Blue Beetle, I think it's gonna flop. I think the movie's gonna be good. If it's trash, we'll trash it this weekend. But
yeah,
we'll see what happens. We'll watch it Thursday, so we'll let you guys know how it goes. But that's the end of our episode. Dang, an hour 30, man. Happy to be back. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have my voice by next week, so we can talk. Yeah, we can talk a little more. But we love you guys. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when we post. Have a great day. Peace out.